All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my name is Vinny, and welcome to the debut edition of Booked Beyond Reality. In this 10-week episodic season, we are going to look at 10 fantasy matchups that span generations, span companies, span eras, and territories. This first matchup this week, I'm going to be talking about by myself. And I'm going to be talking about George the Animal Steele against Big Bronson Reed, the Auszilla. In future episodes, we will have roundtable discussions, including some people from the Gimmick Table Media Group, including some other independent wrestling stars, managers, valets, other podcasters, etc., etc., etc. Some of them will be just me. Some of them will be with a roundtable. But either way, at the end of the episode, what we have done is we have gone ahead and simulated the match on WWE 2K25. And we will play that match for you later on in this episode at the end to see what could have happened between the two superstars or tag teams. The first matchup, like I said, let's go over George the Animal Steele. George Steele, his in-ring career was from 1960 all the way until 2001. He was born in 1937, and he's a WWE Hall of Famer, class of 1996. He was an agent with the WWE or WWF, during the majority of the Attitude Era. He actually had many matches in Madison Square Garden during the WWF days against Bruno Sammartino. He was a monster in the ring. He was 6'1", 288 pounds, and he came from Detroit, Michigan. He looked to supplement his income as a teacher. So he got into the Detroit area of professional wrestling. He was trained by Gary Hart, and Gary Hart became his initial manager as well. Eventually, he made it to the WWF. Because he was scouted by their champion, Bruno Sammartino. He had a brute strength about him, which made the moniker the Animal apropos. Although his name, George Steele, came from a former friend, a previous acquaintance, whose name is George Steele, and he was a high school wrestling coach. And eventually he didn't like his name, Jim Myers, for marketing purposes. So he asked and got permission to use the name George Steele, and then added the Animal later on. In the 90s, he did come back to the WWE as part of the Oddities with the Insane Clown Posse, with Luna Vachon, with Kurgan and Golga and Giant Silva, and Sable as well. He was just a brute. A lot of his matches were memorable because he would go over and eat the turnbuckle. He had a green tongue, which is memorable, part of the whole character base of him, and he did that by eating green mints, breath mints, clarets, as a matter of fact. He was the subject of many vignettes in the past. One notable one with Vince McMahon and his then manager, Captain Lou Albano, in which George Steele was supposed to have some type of electric shock treatment from a therapist or a psychiatrist, and he originally didn't. During this time frame, during his animal character, he didn't speak English. He was just making grunting noises. He, after the electric shock, he was able to sound like his normal self, and that was during that skit. That was on Legends of Wrestling, which was on Peacock, but no longer. Hopefully, it gets picked up by Netflix very soon. He also played a pivotal role at WrestleMania 3 in the corner of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, as Steamboat defeated Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental Championship. Steele had a very notable crush on Miss Elizabeth. And he also carried a teddy bear to the ring, which he named Mine. That was the name of the bear. So he got in the 80s, lasted until the 90s. He had an infatuation with Elizabeth, like I said. And in 1995, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. He was a brute. He had strength. This was back in the time where they didn't need finishing moves. They didn't need to have something that they used every time to win a match. On the flip side, we're going to go over to the Auszilla, Big Bronson Reed. As we know, he's currently a member of the Vision with manager Paul Heyman, the Oracle, tag teaming with, whether it's Bron Breakker or Austin Theory or Logan Paul, he is a force to be reckoned with. 6 foot, even 330 pounds. Finishing move is the tsunami off the top rope, big splash. He is from Black Forest, South Australia, hence why he's called the Auszilla. And we know he came up on the Indies. He was on the Indies from 2007 until 2019. Went through NXT, really kind of, and to be honest with you, there could have been another fantasy matchup of Bronson Reed versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Maybe that'll be in season 2. But he got picked up in 2019 by WWE and went to NXT. Made a name for himself by wearing gear that was inspired by the likes of One Man Gang and Bam Bam Bigelow, going into the history books of the WWE. He made his debut on July 17th, 2019. He ended up having a number of different short feuds with the Undisputed Era, LA Knight, and he did not win the NXT North American Championship, but he had some momentum. And he actually ended up getting that North American Championship later on in the year, in April of 2021. Towards the end of the year, we knew that this was still in the time of COVID era cuts. Unfortunately, in 2021, and having Vince McMahon in charge of NXT at the time, Bronson Reed was cut from the WWE and let go. He was released from his contract August 6th of 2021. He ended up going back to the independents. He went to New Japan for a year. He went to Independent Impact, which is back to TNA now, for a year. He came back on Raw in 2022, and he's been unstoppable ever since. We've seen him tsunami some of the greatest. He put Seth Rollins out of action for a while until he ended up coming back and joining with Seth Rollins. He did put Braun Strowman through a car and tsunami him off the retention wall through the top of a car, putting Braun Strowman on the shelf and out of WWE indefinitely. We just saw him this past December put LA Knight out of action with a tsunami on a car. He's a force to be reckoned with in the WWE. We saw him part of the MFT, the new Bloodline War Games match in 2024 when he teamed with Solo Sikoa and the Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, as well as Drew McIntyre. And that team went, they ended up losing to the original Bloodline. However, during that match, Bronson Reed, for a 330-pounder, went to give a tsunami splash off the top of the cage, ended up breaking his ankle and was out of action until after WrestleMania, WrestleMania 41, that is, in April of 2025. Came back the night after WrestleMania and joined the Vision with Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Or maybe 2 weeks after Mania. So without further ado, let's get to the match. Both Big Bronson Reed and Georgie Animal Steele are members of the roster on WWE 2K25. I didn't need to worry about any content creation or any content creation for this one. But before I get there, let's give you a word about the Gimmick Table Media and what you can expect by watching all the programming from this great group.
Don't go anywhere. Ace Finley again, reminding you to check out Gimmick Table Media, a community of creators, streamers, podcasters, and fans from all corners of entertainment. Dive into chats, collabs, and laughs. There's always a spot for you at the table. Catch all our amazing shows, creators, and exclusive content at linktr.ee/gimmicktablemedia.
All right, fantastic. One more thing to note for Bronson Reed, he won the 2024 Andre the Giant Battle Royal the Friday night before WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. I was there at the Wells Fargo Center. All right, so without further ado, I will be in the corner. Let's go ahead and get to watching the match between Georgie Animal Steele.
Hall of Famer, George the Animal Steele.
Steele's not unorthodox. He's a danger to society.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Detroit, Michigan, weighing in at 275 pounds, George the Animal Steele.
The Animal is one of the most unique and beloved competitors in WWE history. You never know what will happen when he competes.
Here we go. Look at this guy. How is this a sanctioned match? Does he know the rules? Can he even read them?
And remember, because this is AI for video games, maybe the match won't exactly as planned.
Here comes
However,
Big Bronson Reed.
And his opponent from
also
Perth,
making
South
that,
Australia, weighing in at
neither one is
330
supervised
pounds,
for team.
Big
But
Bronson
again,
Bronson Reed tips the scales at over 330 pounds, but it's the agility of a man half his size.
Though when that tsunami comes crashing down, you'll know you ain't facing a cruiserweight.
Bronson Reed is indeed ready for war.
I have a feeling we're just moments away from another jaw-dropping, pardon me, Stu, tsunami.
Obviously, the full surgery, Aaron Saxton on the call. And how do you like the book Beyond Reality Arena?
The one-of-a-kind George Steele looking ready as ever. We've seen superstars emulate the madman, but they can never duplicate him.
one of the wildest, most unpredictable superstars to ever step foot in the WWE ring. Steele is an absolute animal. Gnashing teeth, green tongue, a penchant for chomping on anyone or anything. He's not someone you can capture and tame easily.
You might as well be in the ring with a bear when you're facing up against Steele. At least the bear has some sort of restraint. He's got the shoulders down. Not much behind that pin attempt.
He's not going to go down that easy.
Wow. Oh, man. Oh, stomping right onto the arm.
And a series of vicious stomps. Oh, man, that's like death by 1,000 cuts. Just stomping every single part of his body.
And now Reed is under immense pressure.
Yeah, some flaws in Reed's game plan are being exposed.
This maniac's out of control. Hey, desperate times call for desperate measures. You got to do what you got to do. Headbutt.
Golly.
Trying to break Reed down with that maneuver.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be enough to end things yet. Pinpoint aim right to the arm.
And he's going to the top. Up high.
Does the official not see him removing the turnbuckle pad?
Keep your voice down.
I'm not sure if George Steele.
Corey, what do you think Big Bronson Reed needs to focus on in this match?
Big is the operative word here, Cole. Reed needs to assert that 330-pound frame in this match. After all, we know he can throw himself around and charge like a wild animal.
Propped up in the corner.
Clubbing blow. Now Steele has the firm upper hand.
Yeah, Steele just can't be stopped now.
Oh, shoulder first.
I think the ring just shifted.
My goodness, is this even legal?
I don't think so. My God, enough.
Reed's hurt. Shoulders down. He gets the kick out after the one.
Kicking out now sends a very clear message.
Ring in the arm.
And met with a right hand.
Reed showing how much punishment he can withstand before getting his own offense in.
Yeah, Reed going for the cover. He might just have it.
Forces the shoulder up after two.
He just won't give up. Hold on a second. He might be finding a submission hold here.
Sleeper hold locked in tight.
He is struggling to find.
Needs to free himself from the sleeper. He needs to break this submission. Fighting with everything he has.
True to Paul Heyman, sending it slow.
Mistake made by Steele.
Hoisted up and driven down with an axe driver.
Will that clinch things for Reed?
And we have our winner in the first match in Book Beyond Reality history.
Here is your winner, Big Bronson Reed.
George Steele looking tamed after that loss.
George the Animal Steele tried every trick in the book, but he just couldn't get it done.
And that was your first match in Booked Beyond Reality history. George the Animal Steele against Big Bronson Reed. And that, my friends, is the match. Bronson Reed wins. Obviously, like I said, it's on a video game. I did not play either character. It was just set to simulation, and that is what happened. Obviously, as you're going to see throughout this series, this season of Booked Beyond Reality, you're going to see matches that involve created characters. When those matches, as a matter of fact, next week's episode, we're going to have a content created character, or create a wrestler, create a superstar, whatever you want to call it. Because next week's episode is Andre the Giant versus the Big Show. And obviously, Big Show, Paul White, is part of AEW. He's not part of the WWE anymore, so he was not part of the game of WWE 2K25. I did have to download him, and on next week's episode, I will give credit to that creator and in the show notes as well. So, with that said, folks, I want to thank you guys for watching the very first episode of Book Beyond Reality. It's a short one this week. And like I said, anytime it's just me, it'll probably be short. But next week, we will have a multiple person discussion. Andre the Giant versus the Big Show. All right, folks, I'm out of time. Have fun. Make sure to hit that like button. Turn on the and if you're not subscribed, subscribe to this network. Turn on the notification bell. And by the way, you can go ahead and give us a super chat or a super thanks or a super sticker and help support the network. Especially, I want to get WWE 2K26 for next season. And with that said, if you do give us a super to support our network, you'll be entered to win a t-shirt, a Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt. And that will happen. Those drawings happen every month. At the end of the month, all the supers, everybody who has a super chat or super thanks or a super sticker, they get entered into a drawing, and one lucky person will win a Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt. So go ahead, help us out, and you'll be able to win a shirt. All right, folks, I'm Vinny from Suds and Squared Circle Media. I will be back next week with other people. And we'll be back next week to talk all about Andre the Giant versus the Big Show. Have a great day, everybody.